Welcome to the Salem Night Stories, bite-sized creepy tales straight to the eerie parts. 5 minutes, one chilling story at a time. The Campground Off Highway 9. Every summer, a different campground. His father liked to explore new places, find spots they'd never been before. For years, the boy had dreaded it. While other kids spent their summers at pools or beaches, he spent his hauling firewood and swatting mosquitoes in places he'd never see again. But the summer he turned 14, his father finally agreed to let him bring a friend. Maybe that would make it bearable. This year, his father had found a campground off Highway 9. Small, he'd said. Quiet. Cheap. The kind of place most people drove right past. They arrived just before sunset, his parents, his younger sister, his friend Marcus, and him. The campground looked the same as always, except for one thing. Through a gap in the trees, maybe half a mile away, they could see lights. Colored lights, turning slowly against the darkening sky. "Is that an amusement park?" Marcus asked. His father glanced over while unloading the car. "Old one, been closed for years. Don't even think about it." But of course, that's all they could think about. They set up camp the way they always did. Tents first, then the fire pit, then gathering wood from the tree line. His mother cooked hot dogs over the fire while his sister chased fireflies with a jar. Normal, familiar, boring, except for those lights in the distance, still turning, still glowing against the night sky. After his parents and sister had gone to bed, the boys sat by the dying fire. Neither of them had to say anything. They both knew. The fence around the amusement park was chain link, about 7 feet high, with a rusted "no trespassing" sign wired to it. They climbed over easily. On the other side, the park spread out before them like something from another time. A carousel with peeling paint, game booths with broken windows, and in the center, lit by emergency lights on tall poles, a roller coaster climbing into the darkness. "There's guards," Marcus whispered, pointing to a flashlight beam moving between buildings. They kept low, moving from shadow to shadow. The roller coaster was larger up close, its tracks groaning softly in the wind. Another fence surrounded the ride itself, waist-high, easy to vault over. The stairs to the loading platform seemed to go up forever. At the top, they could see everything. The campground, tiny between the trees, city lights on the horizon, miles away. The world laid out beneath them like a map. They stayed up there longer than they should have, talking about nothing, feeling like they'd discovered something secret and entirely their own. When they finally started back down, they heard voices. Guards, more than one, their flashlights sweeping closer. The boys ducked behind a small utility shed near the fence, pressing themselves flat against the weathered wood. Through a gap in the boards, they could see the guards' lights playing across the carousel, the game booths, the empty paths. Then Marcus grabbed his arm. At first, it was just a shape in the darkness. A figure, moving between the buildings about 30 yards away, heading in their direction. They stayed perfectly still. As the guard's flashlight swept closer, the light caught the figure more clearly. A man, walking slowly, unsteadily. His clothes hung off him in strips, dark and tattered. His hands were black, with dirt or blood, or both. His face was hollow, shadowed, wrong somehow. The man stopped, turned his head, looking in their direction. The boy felt his friend's hand tighten on his arm. Neither of them breathed. The guards' voices grew closer, their lights brighter. The figure took a step back into shadow. Then another. Then he was gone, swallowed by the darkness between buildings. As soon as the guards had passed, the boys ran. Over the fence, through the trees, not stopping until they reached the tent. They crawled inside and lay there in the dark, sleeping bags pulled up to their chins. Neither of them spoke. Not about what they'd seen. Not about the way the man had moved. Not about the feeling that he'd known exactly where they were hiding. They didn't sleep. They lay there listening to the wind in the pines, the distant sound of the lights humming at the amusement park, and their own hearts hammering in the darkness. When dawn came, they heard voices outside. His father's and another man's, deeper, official. The boy unzipped the tent and stepped out. A park ranger stood by their fire pit, radio on his hip, notepad in hand. "Just asking everyone in the area," the ranger was saying. Man on foot, last seen around midnight, probably disoriented. Clothes would be torn up, dirty. Maybe blood on him. The boy's father shook his head. We've been asleep since 10, haven't seen anyone. The ranger made a note. Someone was killed last night. Stabbing, about 2 miles from here. We're looking for the suspect. The boy felt the words land like stones in his stomach. If you see anything, anyone, don't approach. Just call it in. The ranger handed his father a card, nodded to the family, and walked back toward the road. His father turned to look at him and Marcus, both standing frozen by the tent. You boys sleep okay? The boy managed to nod. His father studied them for a moment. Then he looked toward the gap in the trees, where the amusement park lights still turned slowly in the morning sun. Pack up, he said quietly. We're leaving. Nobody argued. Nobody asked questions. They took down the tents, loaded the car, kicked dirt over the fire pit. His mother looked confused but didn't protest. His sister sat in the back seat, silent. Within 20 minutes, they were driving back down the dirt road, dust rising behind them. Marcus sat beside him in the back, staring out the window. Their shoulders touched, but neither of them acknowledged it. Neither of them spoke. The boy watched the campground disappear behind the trees. He thought about how close they'd been, how still they'd stayed, how the man had looked right at their hiding place, and how, just before he'd disappeared into shadow, the man had smiled. They never spoke about that night. Not on the drive home, not in the weeks after, not ever. But sometimes, even now, the boy thinks about it. About the amusement park lights turning in the darkness. About the figure in the tattered clothes. About the ranger's words. And he wonders if the man is still out there. He wonders if they were the only ones who saw him. He wonders what would have happened if the guards' lights hadn't come when they did. One last thing, if you enjoyed today's creepy story, leave your fingers, share and subscribe before you disappear.